Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of CW Live on National Get the Vote Out Day, a day when we will be meeting across the UK in hundreds and hundreds of offices, trying to get the vote out to ensure that we reach the priority right now, which is winning the strike action ballot. I'm delighted to have with me our General Secretary, Dave Ward. Morning, Dave.
Morning.
And our Acting Deputy General Secretary, Postal, Andy Furey. Morning, Andy.
Hi, everyone. Morning.
So we know that lots of you are, some of you are day off, lots of you are at work, lots of you are on gate meetings watching this. So we're not going to keep you too long, maximum 10, 15 minutes. But it's a really, really important message that you're going to hear from Dave and Andy. We're going to have a teeny bit of back and forth. And then essentially it's over to you to go and get the vote out and make sure we win this ballot. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand over. Dave, if you could open the session, please.
Yeah, morning, everyone. Thanks for coming on. We want to give you an update on where we are in the dispute, and obviously we'll cover this legal challenge. But we also are here today to absolutely lay it on the line that after 18 days of strike action, after 3 national ballots, and after us collectively facing up to what I've described as the most brutal attack that any group of workers have ever had to face in decades, this second ballot is the most important vote in your working lives, and we have got to deliver a yes vote and a massive turnout in that ballot. Now, in terms of an update, you'll be aware, I've seen the Royal Mail comms, which are not accurate in how they're setting this out. Yes, we have received a legal challenge over the weekend. We discussed that with our lawyers. There's 2 points that the company focused on in the legal challenge. One was they are effectively trying to argue that the executive action that's taking place in offices at the moment, which is why we obviously called that action to defend against the executive action, somehow has nothing to do with the original ballot that we have used for 18 days other strike action. We don't accept that. Complete and utter nonsense in terms of the point they're trying to make and the way they're positioning it to you this morning. However, what the second point was on the fact that they believe that there are some duties that have strayed over into the 18th of February. But on both of these points, we've discussed it with our lawyers, and what our lawyers have said to us yesterday is that we have a very strong and robust case to defend, particularly on the first point about this has got nothing to do with the original ballot, which we can't accept because it's about start time, finishing times, all of the executive action, all the very things that we're actually sitting in the room and negotiating with Royal Mail. But what the lawyers have said to us is that if we were to go to court and lose in court, and with the law in the way that it can sometimes be weighted against working people, then there is a risk to the second ballot. And that's the issue. We have to weigh up whether defending this action that we called across the 16th and 17th is worth risking the real key issue that's going to change the course of this dispute, i.e. the second ballot. And, you know, having listened to that advice, it really is a no-brainer. You know, the union have got to focus everything now on delivering that second vote. So we don't believe it's worth taking a risk that could impact on the second ballot or on the re-ballot rather, by trying to defend a ballot that actually is going to expire on the 16th and 17th of February. So look, that may be disappointing to people, we understand that, but we have to make these judgments in the course of a dispute. And what you're seeing here, I want to be absolutely clear on this point. What you're seeing here is Royal Mail's tactic at the moment is twofold. In the room, they're moving closer to the union. They're moving away from their best and final offer. And we are confident that we will get an agreement if we deliver that second, the re-ballot vote. But out there, this is the latest, this rush to the courts that they've taken over the weekend is the latest in a sustained set of attacks against you. You've seen it with the executive action. You've seen it with the way they haven't told the truth, even to Parliament. You've seen it with all of the proposals they've put in front of you. You've seen it with the way they're treating our members and our reps, you know, disgraceful and vicious attacks against reps and members. All of that is being done to demoralize you. You've stood up to this, and we know you can stand up to it again. So look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to obviously cancel the 16th and 17th, but we want everybody now to focus on getting that the re-ballot across the line. We're also going to get back into talks this week. And, you know, we want to say to you that if we can't settle this by the time we get the second ballot result, by the time that we then look at any further action, which would have to be 14 days notice from that point, then we will, if we can't settle it, we will have to step up the action. But we're also looking now into a serious way. We've looked at our finances, we've looked at the branches' finances of coming out with a formal strike fund that can help people most in need. I want to be clear that our objective here is to get an agreement. It always is. And I'm going to say to you today, you know, there's no sitting on the fence here. There's no allowing these attacks that they're doing on your union, on you in the workplace, to turn our members away from voting yes. We already know that loads of you have already voted yes. We understand that, but we're asking you today to recognise that if people, anyone out there thinks not voting, sitting on the fence is an option here, we're here to tell you that what you would be doing then is lining up with the employer. They would be counting on you, and you would be supporting the agenda that we fought against all along the way. So look, this is the message from us. We put that behind us. Disputes are a roller coaster. We move on and we get that vote out. Those of you who already voted, thanks very much for doing that. Those of you who haven't voted, please vote today. And we want everybody to make sure that they talk to their colleagues in the workplace from this meeting today, National Get the Vote Out Day, and make sure we get that ballot going now. properly and that everybody votes yes and we deliver that turnout. We do that, there is no doubt it changes the course of this dispute. We're confident we're going to get an agreement on the basis of that. We hope we wouldn't have to use strike action again, but we're ready to do that, and we know that you'll support us, whatever the outcome. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Dave. Brilliant. I can see loads of you flooding into the comments and support the union, which is great. You know, as I say, every single time we do one of these sessions, Royal Mail will be checking in. They'll be taking a temperature check, feeling where people are. Feel free to put "I voted yes" in the comments, or "I'm voting yes," and I'll get as many of those up on screen as I possibly can. While I do that, I'm going to hand over to Andy Furey, our Deputy General Secretary. Andy.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'll keep this very simple, straightforward. We need to deliver a massive yes vote. It really is as simple as that. The stronger the yes vote, the greater the turnout, the more pressure that places on Royal Mail to do an agreement. Last week, we had some productive talks. We're back in talks again tomorrow and Thursday. We would hope to keep that momentum going. We are looking for an agreement. We want an agreement, but we need the negotiating team to have the strength of a magnificent yes vote behind us to take us into that extra mile further into those negotiations to get an agreement that we can all embrace. That's the objective. That's why we need you to deliver a massive yes vote. Thanks for everything you're doing. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on rolling. We will win this dispute by delivering that great yes vote, and make sure we deliver a great turnout as well. There's no hiding place for anybody here. Everybody's got to get involved and return that ballot paper.
Thank you, Andy. Spot on. So there's just one more bit of back and forth we want to give you this morning whilst I try and operate the camera, which seems to have gone a bit loose. And that is, Dave, I want to talk to you and Andy about the issue of trust. Yeah. So I saw yesterday that Royal Mail had put out their comms. I think you touched on it,
yeah.
And they were talking about, the issues, and unions done this, unions done that, and it was from their managing director, Ricky McCauley. And I think that, I wanted to put to you really the issue of this comes down to who do people trust. And I want to play a couple of clips to the members. And the first is Ricky McCauley.
You're saying that Royal Mail is losing £1 million a day, as I understand it. Are Royal Mail bosses getting profit bonuses at the moment?
Well, I think some of the CWU rhetoric around this is about dividends that were paid in January. Those dividends were paid because during the pandemic period, there was no dividends paid. And we always said we would look at that again. And last year's trading, on the back of benefits linked to the pandemic, parcel volume in our network, but all of that has unwound. The economic environment is impacting Royal Mail as it does many other businesses as well, which is why we made that very early offer of 5.5%.
I want to bring you back, if I could, to the question, which is a quite straightforward one. The unions are saying that they're fighting for a cost of living, something that equates to the cost of living increases. My direct question to you is, are bosses from Royal Mail going to be getting bonuses from their work? It's a straightforward question.
In last year, we put significant money into pay, 3.6%, about £180 million into pay, and the 5.5%.
Sorry, is the answer to my question yes or no?
The Royal Mail senior executive, other managers in Royal Mail benefit contractually from any bonus arrangements that they have.
So, can you understand when the unions? I'm taking that as a yes.
When I looked at the long-term investment plan parameters for the calculation of your bonus, I'd noted that the board had changed the way they measure your performance. So traditionally, it would be looking at revenue, profit, service level, delivery. I understand it's been changed to just shareholder value. Is that why you dished out so many millions of pounds last year instead of investing it into the business? Because it creates the opportunity for you to get a larger bonus?
No, not at all. In fairness, my bonuses are based on improving the business constitution, changing the revenue, growing the profitability, and also improving in areas such as CO2. But, I'll come back to what I said.
Can I just check? Because if I've misunderstood, then I'll apologise. But I read that for 2022-23, the long-term investment programme for bonuses for you and your colleagues on the board had been changed because, according to the organisation, it couldn't accurately measure your performance on revenue and profits because of the state of affairs at Royal Mail, and therefore it only looked at shareholder value. Is that not right?
No, my incentives are based on making sure that we deliver good quality to the customer and also make sure that we grow the business.
And so there wasn't that change?
No, there was that change, and I understand the point you're making, but
there you go, everyone, right? This, as I said, this is about trust there. So you have Ricky McCauley a few months ago failing to take the opportunity to admit that the senior management executives had changed their bonus criteria to mean that it wasn't based on profit, it wasn't based on revenue, it wasn't based on the things they expect your wage rises to be based on. It was based on them giving shareholder dividends. He could have said that, he didn't. Thompson went to the select committee, had to be prized out of him 3-4 times. You heard him there. And now you've got in the workplace managers who are ramming through these revisions, who are getting a third of their bonus on top of their already bonus for putting in executive action. So this comes down to, Dave, I want to put this to you, a question of trust, surely, doesn't it? Do you trust your local rep, or do you trust your local manager who's financially incentivized to ram through those revisions? Do you trust the leadership of the company who has consistently misled Parliament, has lied on the media, and has lied to you, or do you trust the union's leadership? These are questions when you will have to answer now. And if you're considering voting no or considering sitting on the fence here, you will be endorsing the strategy, this strategy of misleading Parliament, misleading the members, and all the raft of executive action, management intimidation, union busting that is coming with this company. Dave, surely it comes down to now a simple question of who do our members trust?
Well, it is that question that we're answering with this re-ballot. And you all know that, our members understand. You've invested so much time, effort, money, sacrifices in fighting and standing up against what Royal Mail are trying to do. And we simply cannot allow anything to take our focus away from winning the re-ballot. And that's why we had to make the decision. We could have defended in court, but when you listen to lawyers who are advising you where the law sits, in terms of, you know, they're always looking to make precedents. We couldn't take that risk. It would have been madness to have done that. So any anger on that today, let's get it right back to where it needs to be. The people who have attacked you and your colleagues and your friends, your families, those managers in the workplace, led by the CEO, led by a board that care more about the shareholders than the workers who were key workers in this country. The people who are standing together here will never be defeated if we make the right decision in the ballot. That is what it's going to boil down to. It was always going to come to this point. We know you're going to do the right thing, but we want you to really maximise now the turnout in the ballot. And let's focus all our efforts on that. We are confident we're not coming back with their so-called best and final offer. They are moving away in the talks from their best and final offer. And we are going to bring back an agreement that aligns the interests of our members with customers and can make this company successful in the future. And it's not going to be the proposals that they put in front of us. All we need to do is get that yes vote over the line and get the turnout as big as we can. I know you're up for that, guys. I know you don't trust the employers who have attacked you so much in the last year or so. Now we've got another week or so in this ballot. Let's squeeze out every single vote we can. Thanks very much for listening to us today. We'll give you an update on where we are in the talks in due course.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Andy. Most importantly, there's been about 11,500 of you who found a way today to tune in. We know you're watching it in the workplace. We know you're watching it in your days off. We know you're watching it on gate meetings. It's absolutely important now you take these messages out and you get, if you all speak to 10 people, we're going to win this ballot. So get out there, get the vote out and help us win the ballot. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.